You can look at your life from many perspectives and treat it as a creative adventure, as a painful journey, as an emotional quest, or as a training ground simulation. In all cases, it will be a series of lessons and experiences to learn from. As explained by Machine Elves, we come to this reality to learn about and experience what this existence has to offer. Most humans have no idea about the purpose of our life here, being completely lost in their interpretation of what is happening to them and around them. To make all of this more difficult, human nature is such that we can't transfer the knowledge to others because of human ego standing in the way of learning. We all need to go through our lessons individually. Humans also don't have the metaphysical knowledge about the lessons not being connected, which makes the learning process invisible to us. Most people treat these lessons as a cluster of misfortune and bad luck. Although we all go through these lessons, everyone wants to skip class, I was told by the entities. They said, life is a school and we're not willing to take part in the teaching experience. No one gets that life takes time and that it's a slow process and that everyone moves at the same pace. You need to understand that your whole existence is a big lesson comprised of smaller everyday lessons. Once you know the truth about your life here, you'll gain a completely new perspective that will allow you to raise your vibrational frequency and easily access the states of awe. To do this, you first need to notice and acknowledge the conditions and the environment created for the lessons. I will explain this to you by giving you a few examples from my life, and then I'll tell you how to recognize the actual lessons, what they look like, what the entities told me about our training here, and how to complete them successfully. Before I do that, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who continuously offers support for 434 in these strange and difficult times. I know it's not easy at the moment to donate and finance my work, and that's why I'm extremely grateful for all your financial help. To those of you who want to make sure that independent YouTubers like me can continue their work for you, please join Patreon or Subscribestar, or finance me through PayPal, CashApp, bank transfers, and cryptocurrency. All links in the video description. When I was a teenager, I realized that my life is strangely arranged as if I was purposely put in an artificial environment with coincidental situations that could only be described as a setup for an important life process. The repetitive nature of many improbable events in my life made me realize that it's not possible for all of this to be a random sequence of events. I started paying more attention to what was happening in my life, and I found some very bizarre elements in it that should not exist according to the laws of probability. It started from me realizing that for some unexplained reason, I'm always surrounded by the same type of people with a unique personality characterized by striking lack of logic and their inability to exist in the real world. Most of my family and childhood friends are strangely made of the same copy and paste type of personality, and they seem to be like that for me to learn how to handle one type of an interpersonal problem. Machine Elves eventually explained that these people are my teachers and that they are a part of an arrangement that allows me to learn certain type of lessons in this reality. My move to England was probably one of the most unbelievable artificially arranged moments of my life. It started from an impossible to explain logically situation where within a few months I had a bunch of noisy students moving into apartments adjacent to mine, a loud construction site starting next to my building, and me losing all access to money, not allowing me to support myself anymore. All of this happened at the same time, and if that wasn't enough, out of nowhere, I got a very dangerous eye inflammation resulting in almost losing vision in one of my eyes while being horribly treated by a mentally unstable specialist. My situation got so difficult that within 2 months I packed my bags and got on the plane to Liverpool, going for the first time to England with only £600 in my pocket. Here, the weird coincidences continued, and within 2 hours of landing, I found a room in a fully booked hotel during what later turned out to be one of the busiest weekends of the year. Within 4 days, I was offered a good paying job, and after 1 week, I rented an apartment in a newly built house. No references, no questions asked. And I got kicked out of the hotel the same day as I was allowed to move in. As it turns out, the receptionist who made the booking did it against the hotel policy. Just like that, a brand new life in a country I had never been to, perfectly arranged and waiting for me 1 week after arrival. It turned out later that coming to England might have probably saved my life and gave me an opportunity to heal mentally from everything I'd gone through up to that point. It offered me a relaxed environment in which I had a chance to observe myself in normal surroundings, learning everything I needed to know about adult life. For years I was landing boring jobs where I had nothing to do but to read and discover the spiritual aspects of life. And then one day, just like that, the jobs got incredibly difficult and demanding, allowing me to get to a point after almost a decade where I couldn't take it anymore and I quit, starting 434. That long journey of lessons allowed me to create this content for all of us to learn and benefit from. Early in my life as a teenager, I was invited into environments filled with women who loved me and accepted me for who I was, so that one day I would create a viral video about women that eventually led me to starting the 434 channel. It was only as I was writing this video that I connected these dots. Discovering hidden lessons will allow you to see the bigger picture, and it will reveal to you how all of these lessons are connected and how they create your training in this reality. Machine Elves made it clear many times that this is a training simulation. It is crucial for you to remember this. It is very important to see and understand these lessons, or otherwise you'll develop a distorted perception of life. I was told that you need to let life take you from lesson to lesson without you trying to question it or interrupt the process. They said many times that there are no mistakes and no coincidences in this life. Everything is planned. Remember that the environment for your lessons had been set up before you appeared in this reality, and everything you came here with is for you to be able to complete these lessons. What you consider obstacles in your life might be simply helpful guides pushing you towards your path. The lessons you'll go through are leading you to your purpose and what you came here for. How you feel in life is an indicator of how you're doing in this earthly educational system. I was told that there is a right moment for everything. Even if at a given moment you feel something doesn't fit a particular situation, the same element next time will fit it perfectly. The knowledge you gain from a lesson will become useful when you will need it most in the future, and I've experienced this many times in my life. Always make an effort to try and understand what an event or a crisis in your life is trying to teach you. Always try first from looking at a lesson from a loving perspective. Very likely it will be a lesson trying to teach you love, as love is your compass in life for everything. Your lessons are very important and they deserve your respect the same way as all other defining elements of your life. I was told everyone who comes into your life is your teacher and you need to treat them with respect. Even if they're a problem and you don't like them, they are still your teachers and you need to treat them as such. You are here to learn. Don't resist. Make the best out of this learning process. Remember that the only scoreboard of life are positive experiences, and that's the only thing that you take with you when you leave this reality. And as you're doing this, remember to enjoy life. The entities want you to try and find and create an opportunity for pleasure and joy in everything you do in life. Don't forget that your job is also to help others to understand and complete their lessons. You don't have to go through the lessons alone. By being nice and loving towards others, you help them to fulfill their mission here. Lessons themselves should not be too painful. It is resistance to the lessons that makes them hurtful. Pain and suffering in most cases is a reminder of you being wrong about what you're supposed to do and be here. I need you to understand that lessons have different forms, and even a disease can be a lesson, your or somebody else's. I went through this learning process twice in the last 2 years, and it was about me and another family member. Bad state of health can be another stage in your life that teaches you something. I was recently told that ending a relationship with people is also a lesson, both in how it happens and why it happens, both in case of death and breakups. This can be painful, but apparently there's no other way around it. I will talk about this more soon. Also, evil has a purpose, and its existence in this world helps for us to go through life lessons. I'm aware that this is something many of you question in Machine Elf teachings, and it is something you struggle with the most in life. I was told evil people are sent to your life in this simulation so that you can grow and discover your true potential. Let's talk now about how you're supposed to recognize these lessons so that you know when to learn from them. It is clear that there are some simple and easy lives in this world where it seems that people have nothing to learn here. And then there are lives where you work hard 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was told that my life is one of these. Some lessons are small, some are life-changing, some are painful, some are motivating. There are simple events and there are difficult lessons spanning throughout your lifetime. It is possible you might feel that your life is exactly the opposite of what you want to experience. That's your lesson too, your expectations. Although we're all being pulled by the same force towards the same common goal, being impatient and expecting too much from life drives us insane. People appearing in your life are a lesson too. You'll recognize these teachings in appearance of people who perpetually and strangely return into your life. People you can't stand, people you consider a problem. The energy will keep throwing them at you as long as you learn what is the purpose of them coming back to you. Your difficult relationships are also lessons. I was told by machine elves that one of my girlfriends, who I struggled with, turned out to be a gift, despite me thinking that it was a nightmare. It turned out it was a problem with me, not with her. All of us have these experiences, and maybe some of them should be re-examined. Being rejected is a perfect example of a lesson. It will allow you to understand not only the nature of the people you deal with, but also you will learn a lot about yourself and your potential areas for improvement. It doesn't always have to be painful. It can also be a valuable gift preventing future disasters from happening. There are lessons that will teach you what you're made of. For years I struggled with my corporate jobs until I learned from machine elves about my mission, and I realized that it's simply not who I am. These lessons will help you find your true self, and they'll teach you what your future should be made of. You just need to learn to notice and acknowledge them. For some, one of the biggest and most important lessons in life is raising a child. Nothing lets you look at yourself critically as much as observing your reactions in a situation that requires a completely selfless dedication to something outside of yourself. Now I would like to explain why going through these lessons is so important. Once you identify and comprehend the nature of your training in this reality, you'll start connecting the dots, and suddenly everything will start to make sense. Suffering stops being painful once it finds its meaning. When you have this understanding, your fear and anxiety levels can significantly go down. Understanding that everything is a lesson could even be the solution to your depression. Seeing life as a series of lessons instead of an endless procession of problems will allow you to develop a grateful mindset. It will let you be happy with what you have while working on what you want. Understanding life as a one big lesson will help you silence or even remove altogether your destructive ego from the equation. This perspective will let you develop inner and outer harmony with yourself and the world around you. This in turn will align you with the system you were put into, and it will let you recognize and get access to gifts and life deals offered by the energy. To put it simply, understanding life lessons removes the obstacles to the 434 mindset, and it lets you experience love, joy, and hope as you go through life. I was told that every lesson gets you closer to the energy, or God, as part of this training is to let you be more like the Creator and their energy. Successfully completed lessons and resulting knowledge will raise your vibrational frequency, allowing you to be more often in the states of awe. As always, it's all connected in this perfectly working earthly mechanism you're a part of, and once you understand the structure, it will work to your advantage. And of course, let's not forget this situation we're in now. It has already allowed us to learn so much about ourselves, about people around us, and the world itself. It even allowed me to understand and forgive 2 of my family members for what they did in the past, as I myself struggle now with the understanding of the forces of good and evil in the world. Don't let this opportunity for learning be wasted on fear and worry. But to get to that state, it is important to remove resistance from your understanding of what is fair and unfair in your life. Remember that if you don't learn, you'll get these lessons again and again, as many times as necessary for you to learn. The lessons will appear in a completely different set of circumstances, always resulting in the same emotional state and in the need for the same type of response to the situation. Eventually, they'll increase in intensity, and like in every training, the more you learn, the harder the future lessons will become. Once you change your idea of life and once you understand that it's a series of life lessons, everything should start to make sense. Keep in mind that everything has a purpose and a goal. The winners in this life are aligned with the teaching plan and the lessons their higher selves and the energy has to offer to them. If you can go through life with love, joy, and hope as your guides, you will know that you're in good hands. Understand that the most valuable lessons in life cannot be taught, but they must be experienced. Although in our earthly schools we're going through lessons and then we get tested, in this reality, you get a test that teaches you a lesson. Everything in your life, if it's not a blessing, it's a valuable lesson. Measure your success by what you had to give up in order to learn the lesson. May the 434 river flow through you freely. Love, 434. I hope this information has helped you, and it has. Please consider supporting 434. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Visit the websites of the artist and the musician I featured in this video. Leave your email address at news.b434.com to be up to date with the latest 434 information. Remember about b434.com and join 434's social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and VK. Talk to each other on Telegram, Reddit, and Discord. All links in the video description.